This is gonna be a different kind of show today, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And we're starting to catch a lot of white bass. We're gonna show you some pretty cool techniques for catching whites in really cold water. Don't miss this episode. That's cool. This is Hook and Hunt TV.
Well, I'm going back to my hometown, hang around with my friends. I'm going back, stomping grounds where the party never ends. I'm going back, southern land, baby, it's good to be back home. Well, I finally got myself back on track. I'm going back, yeah, I'm going back. Woo! I've traveled so far, and I've been guided by southwestern stars.
Here's another one here. Oh, come on in. That is fun. That is fun. It's been such a long time since I've just went white bass fishing. And really got to be careful of these things. Holy cow. Okay, good. And we're going to show you a couple different ways to catch them. Right now what we're catching them on is Old Faithful, one of my absolute all-time favorite lures, and that's a Rapala X-Wrap. We're going to keep going down the bank here, and we got a cool thing to show you. There we go. Come on, you. There we go. Perfect. All right. Turn that off there for a second. Another nice white bass. What we're doing is we're fishing these windy banks right here, and they don't look like anything on the graph, but there's a drop right here in about 10 foot of water. And what we're doing, these whites are getting up against this bank on that drop off. So we're throwing X-Wraps at them and some rattle baits, always making sure we got that little feathered treble. That's where about 90% of the strikes come on there. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna try to find an area where there's a bunch of fish, I'm gonna spot lock them, and then we're really gonna get into them. Let's see if we can get another one. Another white. Man, they're just, now they're eating it. Now they're eating it better. That's exactly what you want to see. Yeah, come in here, buddy. Man, this is fun. When you can get on a bunch of these like this, this is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to show you a cool little trick here, too. I took this Arashi Vibe, which, I mean, they just beat the heck out of this thing. But I replaced the standard treble with a little VMC white treble hook. And with that red, the extra flash in there, it really, really helps. And that's what they're keying on a lot, is that back hook. Whenever you're fishing white bass, make sure you put on a white treble or some kind of feathered treble. It really helps. Perfect example here. Look how he's hooked, and exactly what he went for. That white treble, every time. I learned that years ago fishing some of the smaller reservoirs, when these fish really get to schooling, and they get on smaller bait fish like that. And this is a Sure Set treble from VMC, and I absolutely love that hook. See how that barb sticks out a little bit farther? Killer on species like white bass and stripers and things like that. That little extra bend right there, it works. Flat out works. That is just fun, man. That's just fun. Again, look what they're keying on, that tail. That is fantastic. That's a nice white bass anywhere you go. Man, is that fun. The key to what we're doing here is making long casts. Let me turn the boat around a little bit here. Get out here. The key to what we're doing is making long casts. Our boat is actually in about 16, 17 foot of water. And what Kirk and I are doing are varying between that lipless bait and jerk baits. But without question, that tail, that feathered tail on the end, is making a difference. The water temperatures went up about 2 degrees since we've been here, and they're starting to move shallower. But we're still having to stay far enough off the bank to catch a lot more of those fish that are out in the middle. When we come on a good group of them, then we hit the spot lock, stay in the boat, catch 2 or 3 out of that school, and then keep moving. Without question, the key today is those windy banks. You have to be on those windy banks. It's blowing that warm wind in, those warm wind in, the bait fish are stacking up there, and white bass and some smaller largemouth are starting to follow. This is one of those 50 to 100 fish days. That's when it gets fun. Oh, I was just saying that as the day goes on, they're hitting it harder. Look at that. Look at that. That's what happens with a couple degree water temperature, rise in water temperature. They're starting to hit it like that. Yeah, 50 fish day, this may be a 100 fish day. This is when it gets fun. Oh, yeah. nice. I'll tell you what, this, I think Rapala came out with this X-Wrap in 2009, and it's been a staple in my boat for cold water periods, for largemouth, for smallmouth, even for white bass. There's just a bait. Matter of fact, we're gonna go over here in a minute exactly how to work a jerkbait, and because between that and a jig, without question, those are the two baits that seem to intimidate anglers the most. I'm going to show you how to work a jerkbait, hopefully the correct way, how you get confidence in it, and how it's definitely going to catch more fish. We'll be back right after this. This segment of Hook and Hunt TV is brought to you by Covercraft, car covers, seat covers, sunscreens, floor mats. Covercraft, protection for whatever you drive. I'm going to show you exactly how I throw a jerkbait. And so I like making long casts. So I've got 10-pound or 12-pound fluorocarbon line on here. So when I make the cast out, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to reel down a little bit, and then how I'm going to work the bait, there's a fish right there. I'm just going to show you how I work it. Let's see here. I put one jerk on that thing, and he started going. He hit it right away. Yeah, another white. Look at that. Oh yeah. There you go. I was actually going to get into the cadence, and then he hit it right away. Well, since I was interrupted on that last cast, let me show you exactly how that I work a jerkbait. So right now we're on the break right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reel that bait down to where I want it. And then if you notice, the cadence that I work is not just always the same jerk, jerk, pause. What I like to do is jerk, jerk, throw the rod tip back. When I do that, that bait has a tendency to turn sideways, all right? So it's not just a straight in the line bait. It actually goes broadside to the fish. Let me make another cast out there and I'll show you here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jerk and throw that rod tip back. Jerk and throw that rod tip back. The colder the water, the longer I'm going to let that thing pause. Sometimes, there's right there. Told you, just like that. I let that thing pause, and he ate it. There you go. The colder that water is, like today at 55 degrees, I'm just going to let that bait sit. So you're going to say, okay, so what does a bite feel like? If you fished a plastic worm or a jig, or even a good bite on a spinnerbait, that's what it feels like. It's just a thump. You set the hook and they've already got it. A lot of times when you're doing the jerk, you'll pause, go to jerk again, and you'll hook the fish. When you let that thing pause like that in colder water, that's a result. And we're doing it time and time again. Water temperature like this, you let that bait sit a little bit, the fluorocarbon line lets that bait suspend, you will catch a lot of fish. Now here's a nice surprise. Look at that big largemouth. I'll tell you what, guys, when you get throwing a jerkbait, you never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. Look at that right there. That is really cool. Absolutely beautiful. Nice addition to the white bass trip. The two lures that we mostly use today are two of the lures that I find the most effective in cold water, no matter if I'm fishing for largemouth or smallmouth, hybrid stripers, or like today, white bass. And that's a jerkbait and a lipless bait. And the jerkbait is a Rapala X-Wrap, and it's one that I think they came out with in 2009, and it's been a favorite of mine ever since. It's more like a slash bait. It's got a cup on the lip, so when you jerk the bait down, it literally slashes from side to side. Incredible action on this lure. It's got an internal weight chamber in here that allows the bait to suspend. Well, to keep it down there longer in cold water, I use fluorocarbon line, and I use that on both lures today. Actually, I use a new Suffix Advanced. This is the most castable fluorocarbon I've ever used, and it's extremely durable. I used it in 12-pound tests for both lures. Now, if you notice on a jerkbait today, when I was throwing it, I was kind of doing a jerk, jerk, throw the rod tip back, not a pause. And the reason I do jerk, jerk, throw the rod tip back is because that throws slack back to the lure, and it allows the lure to go off on its intended path. In a lot of cases, it will turn sideways. On lures like the Shadow Wrap or the Shadow Wrap Shad, it will help those lures almost turn completely back around looking at the fish that's following it. Now, the other lure that was effective for us today, and you don't hear a lot about until now. This is the Storm Arashi Vibe. I love this lure, and here is why. Several reasons. One, it's got a real slim backside to it right here. That allows you to reel it really slow in cold water. It's got an adjustable or self-adjusting line tie right here. What that does is even when you reel it really fast, the lure is not going to roll over. And it's also extremely effective at slow speeds. It's got rotated hook hangers on here so you can put bigger treble hooks on here. This is a fantastic lure in cold water, as I said, and to put a little addition on it, I take off the treble. Whenever I'm fishing white bass or hybrids, I like putting a feathered treble on there. For whatever reason, it's a great attractor. And the ones I'm using are the VMC Sure Set trebles, and these have that white feather on there. I love this. This always works well for me. I learned that years ago fishing reservoirs for white bass. It really, really works. Now the rods that I were using is ones that I constructed myself, and these are American Tackle Bushido blanks. This one for the jerkbait is a 610 medium heavy with a fast tip. It's got more of a parabolic bend on the top third of the rod, which when I went to throw slack back to the lure, this rod has got a great action for that. I also use this for throwing topwaters as well as square bills. I have it paired with a new American Tackle 6-3-1 baitcast reel. This comes in both left and right hand models. These things are extremely light and they have 13 pounds of drag pressure. Almost perfect for bass fishing. You should really look into these. You can look at that, I think, American Tackle, click on products. You'll be surprised. These are fantastic reels. Okay, now for the crankbait rod. This is one of my favorite rods that I built this last year. This is a 7.2 medium moderate. Again, as on both rods, I used the microwave guides on both of them for longer casts. This was just a really simple rod that I did. Finished it off in gray and black, but this is, when I said it's a medium moderate, it's got more of a parabolic bend throughout the entire blank and the entire length of the rod. That really helps when you're throwing lipless baits. Absolutely fantastic for that. It's a lot of fun today. We've never done a white bass show, and I think we're going to do another one. That was a lot of fun. These were the tools of the trade. Make sure you check out Lure Parts Online. That's where you can get all your rod components and blanks. I love building my own rods. It's a lot easier than you think. I did it, so can you. There we go. Another decent one. Love it, love it, love it. Eating it. For today's tip, I'm going to show you how easy it is to change out a treble hook. Now I got these pair of split ring pliers from Lure Parts Online, and I'm going to take that point right there, and I need to find the opening of the split ring. Once I have that, then I'm going to start the old treble hook that I want to replace, just like that. Then I'm going to take the new treble, and I'm just going to slide it in the opening, just like that. Turn the bait around, and then I'm going to take the split ring pliers, grip it, and then I'm going to turn. I always try to keep it close to where I'm doing it. That way when the hook drops, I know exactly where it ends up. There it is right there. And that is how quick and easy it can be to replace a treble hook. Beautiful white there. Well, folks, I hope you had fun watching us today. It was pretty entertaining and exciting for us to come to a new lake that we haven't done, that we've never done before, and have this much fun catching a species that we don't pursue very often. But starting to catch white bass, it's great for your kids, it's great for the family, and like I said, it's always a lot of fun to catch these things. You get on a great pattern with them, and then on top of that, they are good to eat if you decide to keep them. Hey, we sure appreciate you joining us today. Before you leave, please make sure you check out all the sponsors that help bring hookandhunttv.com to you each and every week. As we always tell you, we are so glad to have you join us. Make sure you like us on Instagram and follow us on Facebook as well. Hey, until next time, stay safe. God bless you. Jim Crowley, we will see you soon.